I was 6 months into a deployment when my brother in my unit accidentally sent me a video of him proposing to my wife in our living room. I'd been deployed for 6 months when I caught my wife cheating with another soldier in my unit. The video call schedule with Kendra was the only thing keeping me sane in this desert hellhole. Every Wednesday at 0800 my time, I got to see her face and hear about normal life back home in Ohio. Devin always seemed to linger nearby during these calls. He'd make excuses about needing something from our shared quarters. I thought nothing of it at the time. My phone buzzed at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Our unit group chat was lighting up with messages from a night of drinking. I was on duty, so I'd missed the festivities. Devin had accidentally sent a video to the group. 8 seconds that destroyed my world. I recognized my living room immediately. The scratched coffee table I'd tried to fix before deployment. The crooked picture frame Kendra never straightened. The burn mark on the carpet from her curling iron last Christmas. And there was my wife, wearing the blue dress I'd bought for our anniversary. Devin was down on one knee, holding out a ring that looked far more expensive than his junior enlisted pay could afford. The video disappeared from the chat minutes later. Devin had deleted it, but I'd already saved it and screenshotted every frame. I confronted him privately the next morning. "That was my house in the video," I said. My voice was calmer than I expected. Devin looked panicked. "No, man, that was my cousin's place. They have similar furniture." I showed him the screenshots. "That's the table I scratched moving it last year. That's the picture frame Kendra refuses to straighten. That's the burn mark from her curling iron." He stammered something about coincidences. I was already walking away. I tried calling Kendra immediately. Straight to voicemail. I tried again every hour for the next 4 hours. She finally called back 6 hours later. Her voice sounded strange, nervous. "Hey babe, sorry I missed your calls. I was in meetings all day." I checked the timestamp on the video. It showed 2 p.m. her time. "Aren't you supposed to be at work right now?" I asked. "I took a half day," she said quickly, not feeling well. I didn't confront her yet. I needed more information. "Is everything okay at the house?" I asked. She hesitated just a fraction too long. "Of course, why wouldn't it be?" I ended the call shortly after. I was numb. I'd trusted Devin with my life for 8 months. Connor, my platoon leader, noticed something was wrong during morning formation. He pulled me aside afterward. "Whatever's going on, we can talk about it privately," he said. I showed the video to Nolan that night. He was my best friend in the unit, the only one I truly trusted now. Nolan's face darkened as he watched. "This explains a lot," he said. "Devin's been acting weird for months." "What do you mean?" I asked. "He's always asking about your hometown, and he's weirdly interested in your calls with Kendra." I started paying attention after that. Devin knew things about my town he shouldn't know. He mentioned a restaurant that had just opened near my house. During a smoke break, he complained about the construction on Main Street, making traffic terrible. How would he know about that? I noticed other things too. During my next call with Kendra, Devin positioned himself just out of camera view. Kendra's eyes flicked to his position twice during our conversation. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring. "It's too tight lately," she explained when I asked. "My fingers are swollen from the heat." It was October in Ohio, not exactly sweltering. I asked Pierce, Devin's squad leader, about Devin's emergency contact information. "Just curious," I said. Pierce thought nothing of it. "His contact lives near your neighborhood, right? Like 3 streets over," Pierce said. "Walking distance." That was strange. Devin had always claimed to be from Colorado Springs. I called Kendra during her lunch break the next day. I heard a man's voice in the background, heavy footsteps moving away from the phone. "Is someone there?" I asked. "Just the TV," she said quickly. Too quickly. I hung up and stared at the wall of our barracks. The evidence was piling up. My wife and my brother-in-arms were betraying me in my own home. The anger came later. At that moment, I just felt hollow. I needed proof. Nolan and I started a detailed list of all the suspicious things Devin had been doing. We documented everything in a small notebook I kept hidden in my footlocker. "He mentioned Kroger on Maple has the best produce selection in town," Nolan said as we added to the list. "How would he know that unless he's been there?" I nodded grimly. That was my regular grocery store. Kendra always complained about their avocados. During my next video call with Kendra, I watched her eyes carefully. They darted to the left 3 times during our 15-minute conversation, exactly where Devin liked to stand. "How's the weather back home?" I asked casually. "Cold," she answered. "Had to turn the heat up last night." Her wedding ring was still missing. I pointed it out again. "Still too tight," she said, not meeting my eyes. "I'll get it resized when I have time." After the call, I approached Pierce during chow. We'd always been friendly, and he had no reason to suspect my motives. "Hey, I need to mail something to Devin's family," I lied. "You have his contact info handy?" Pierce didn't hesitate. "Sure thing. His emergency contact is at 1423 Willow Drive." My stomach dropped. That was 3 streets over from my house. Walking distance, just like Pierce had said before. "I thought Devin was from Colorado," I said, keeping my voice neutral. Pierce shrugged. "Nah, man, he's always talking about Ohio. Says he moved there about a year ago." A year ago, 6 months before my deployment. I called Kendra the next day during her lunch break. She always ate at her desk from 12:30 to 1. She answered on the 4th ring. "Hey, what's up?" She sounded breathless, surprised. I heard a man clearing his throat in the background. Heavy footsteps moved away from the phone. "Who's there?" I asked. "Just the TV," she said quickly. "I'm watching a show while I eat." "Turn it down," I said. "I want to hear your voice clearly." There was a pause, then silence. No TV sounds at all. I called my sister Talia that evening. We'd always been close, and she lived just 20 minutes from my house. "I need a favor," I told her. "Can you drive by my house a few times over the next week? Different times of day. Tell me if you see any cars there." Talia didn't ask questions. She knew something was wrong from my voice. "Of course, I'll start tomorrow." 3 days later, she called back. There's a black Dodge Charger parked in your driveway. It's been there the last 2 mornings around 7 a.m. And at night? I asked, already knowing the answer. Still there at 9 p.m. yesterday, she confirmed. License plate starts with GHT. Devin drove a black Charger. I'd seen him wash it countless times on base. Nolan helped me access our joint bank account online that night. We hadn't checked the transaction history in months. What I found made me physically ill. Charges for restaurants I'd never heard of. Expensive places downtown. A $3,200 purchase at a jewelry store 2 months ago. The timing matched the ring in the video. Look at these hotel charges, Nolan pointed out, all in the next city over, and the dates. The dates aligned perfectly with Devin's family emergency leaves. 3 weekends, when he'd supposedly gone to help his sick mother, he'd been 20 minutes from my house, with my wife. I found receipts for wine I didn't drink, movie tickets for films I hadn't seen, a weekend getaway to a cabin I'd never visited. They're not even trying to hide it, Nolan said quietly. They think you'll never check. I stared at the screen until the numbers blurred. Our joint savings was down nearly $8,000 since my deployment began. The next day, I noticed Devin watching me during morning formation. He looked nervous, checking his phone constantly. Something had spooked him. I cornered Pierce again during lunch. How long has Devin been talking about Ohio? Pierce thought for a moment. Since he got to the unit, I guess. Said his girlfriend lives there. Girlfriend. Not wife. Not fiancé. Girlfriend. I called Kendra that night. Unscheduled. She didn't answer. I tried 3 more times. Nothing. She texted an hour later. Sorry. Was in the shower. Can we talk tomorrow? I replied immediately. Where's my grandfather's watch? The watch was in my deployment bag. She wouldn't know that. In the safe. She texted back quickly. Where it always is. Another lie. We didn't have a safe. Talia drove by again the next day. Charger's still there, she reported, and someone's put up new curtains in the living room. They're blue. Weren't yours beige? They were. Kendra had picked them out when we moved in. Nolan found more evidence in our bank records. Charges for men's clothing stores, a subscription to a streaming service I'd never used, and most damning, a receipt for a rental application fee, dated 2 weeks after I'd deployed. They've been planning this, Nolan said. The whole time. I felt hollow. The anger would come later, I knew. But right now, I just needed to keep gathering evidence. During our next scheduled call, Kendra was wearing a necklace I'd never seen before. Diamond pendant, delicate chain. That's new, I said, pointing to the screen. She touched it reflexively. Oh, this old thing? Had it forever. I could see the price tag in my bank statement. $3,200 at Davidson Jewelers. You look tired, she said, changing the subject. Are you sleeping okay? I wasn't. I hadn't slept more than 3 hours a night since discovering the video, but I smiled and lied, just like she was lying to me. Never better, I said. Everything's perfect. Connor noticed my deteriorating condition during PT the next morning. You need to talk to someone, he said quietly as we finished our run. Chaplain Desmond has helped guys in your situation before. My situation? I asked sharply. Connor's eyes were sympathetic. The signs are all there, brother. I've seen this before. I nodded slowly. The evidence was overwhelming. My wife was having an affair with my brother-in-arms, in my house, spending my money, planning a future without me. I needed to go home. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I approached Julian's office early the next morning. My hands held a manila folder containing all the evidence I'd gathered. He motioned me inside with a concerned look. Sir, I need to request emergency leave, I said. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. Julian leaned forward across his desk. What's the situation, soldier? I placed the folder in front of him. Family emergency, sir. My wife is having an affair with Devin from 3rd Platoon. In my house. Using my money. He opened the folder and flipped through the screenshots, bank statements, and notes. His expression darkened with each page. Jesus Christ, he muttered. You have solid evidence here. I nodded. I need to handle this in person, sir. Julian closed the folder and handed it back. Approved. I'll process the paperwork immediately. You can be on a transport tonight. He paused, studying my face. Have you spoken with Chaplain Desmond? Not yet, sir. Do it before you leave. That's an order. I found Desmond in the chapel an hour later. He listened without interruption as I laid out everything I'd discovered. 20 years as a military chaplain had clearly prepared him for stories like mine. What are you planning to do when you get home? He asked when I finished. Confront them. Get the truth. Start divorce proceedings. Desmond nodded slowly. Remember that violence won't solve this. It will only create more problems. I know, sir. Do you? Because right now, you look like a man contemplating murder. I took a deep breath. I just want the truth. Then I want out. The flight home was 16 hours of pure hell. I replayed every conversation, every video call, every suspicious moment in my head. I didn't tell Kendra I was coming. I didn't tell anyone except Talia. She picked me up at the airport just after midnight. Are you sure you want to go to the house? She asked. You could stay with me tonight. I need to see it with my own eyes, I said. Talia dropped me off a block from my house. The black Charger wasn't in the driveway. The house was dark. I used my key and stepped inside. The smell hit me first. Unfamiliar cologne mixed with Kendra's perfume. I turned on the lights and saw evidence everywhere. Men's boots by the door. Not mine. A jacket hanging on the coat rack that belonged to Devin. I recognized it from base. In the kitchen, 2 wine glasses sat in the sink. The refrigerator was stocked with beer brands I never drank. A grocery list on the counter had items written in 2 different handwritings. I walked upstairs slowly. Our bedroom door was open. The bed was unmade. On the nightstand, a man's watch. In the bathroom, men's toiletries lined the counter. Devin's brand of deodorant, his razor. In the closet, men's clothes hung next to Kendra's. I recognized shirts I'd seen Devin wear on base. I sat on the edge of the bed and called Brianna. It was nearly 2 a.m., but she answered on the third ring. I know you're Kendra's best friend, I said without preamble, but I need the truth. How long has she been sleeping with Devin? Silence stretched for several seconds, then a sigh. 4 months, Brianna finally said. It started 2 months after you deployed. And they're living together in my house. Yes, I told her it was wrong. I told her to end it, or at least tell you. I gripped the phone tighter. Were they planning to tell me? Another pause. They were planning to wait until you got back. Kendra was going to ask for a divorce. They want to get married. The words hit like physical blows. Thanks for being honest, I managed to say before hanging up. I called Talia next. She arrived 30 minutes later with a small duffel bag. I brought the cameras you asked for, she said, pulling out 3 small wireless cameras. Are you sure about this? I need evidence for the divorce, I said. Help me set them up. We placed one in the living room, one in the kitchen, and one in the hallway, all positioned to capture common areas, nothing in bedrooms or bathrooms. I wasn't interested in torture, just proof. Talia left reluctantly around 4 a.m. I sat in my car down the street, waiting. At 5:30 a.m., the black Charger pulled into my driveway. Kendra and Devin got out, laughing about something. He carried an overnight bag. They looked comfortable together, like an established couple. I waited until they were inside before approaching. I used my key again and opened the door quietly. They were in the kitchen. Devin had his arms around Kendra's waist. She was making coffee, leaning back against him. They looked happy. In my house, using my coffee maker. Good morning, I said from the doorway. They jumped apart like they'd been electrocuted. Kendra's face went white. Devin looked like he might throw up. What are you doing here? Kendra whispered. I held up my phone, showing the proposal video. I came to congratulate you on your engagement. In my living room, with my money. Devin edged toward the door. Listen, man, we can talk about this. Sit down, I said, my voice deadly calm. We're all going to have a conversation. Kendra started crying. I was going to tell you when you got back. After spending another 3 months lying to my face, after draining our bank account, after fucking my brother in arms in our bed. Devin raised his hands. I love her, man. This isn't just some fling. I laughed. A hollow sound. You love her. That's why you proposed to her in my house? That's why you used my credit card to buy the ring? I pulled out printed bank statements, hotel stays, expensive dinners, jewelry, all while I was getting shot at overseas. I can explain, Kendra sobbed. When did it start? I asked. She looked at the floor. 2 months after you left. 4 months, I said. That's what Brianna told me. 4 months of lying to my face on video calls. Devin took a step toward the door again. I blocked his path. You're not going anywhere until I get answers. What do you want me to say? He asked. It just happened. We didn't plan it. Bullshit. You moved into my house. You're wearing my clothes. You're spending my money. Kendra wiped her eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. You could have started by not fucking him, I said. You could have asked for a divorce before getting engaged to someone else. I remembered Chaplain Desmond's words and took a deep breath. Violence wouldn't solve this. It would only create more problems. I want you both out of my house in 1 hour. I said. Take only what belongs to you, Devin. Kendra, take what you need for a few days. The rest we'll sort out through lawyers. Where am I supposed to go? She asked. That's not my problem anymore, I said. You've had 4 months to figure it out. Devin grabbed his overnight bag. I'll wait in the car, he mumbled, not meeting my eyes. After he left, Kendra tried again. I still care about you. It just changed. Save it for someone who believes you, I said. 1 hour, then I'm changing the locks. I watched from the kitchen as she packed a suitcase. She took her clothes, her jewelry, her toiletries. She didn't take any photos of us. She didn't even look at them. When she reached the door, she turned back. I really am sorry. Me too, I said. I'm sorry I wasted years of my life with someone who could do this. After they drove away, I sat in my empty house and finally let the anger come, but beneath it was something else. Relief. The lies were over. The truth was out. I had maintained control. I had followed Desmond's counsel. I hadn't let rage consume me. Now I could begin rebuilding my life, piece by shattered piece. I slept at Talia's place that night. My sister didn't ask questions. She just made up the guest room and left me alone with my thoughts. I called a divorce attorney the next morning. Martin Reeves, 23 years in family law. He didn't sugarcoat anything. With this evidence, we can file for divorce on grounds of adultery, he said. The videos, bank statements, and witness testimony are compelling. I nodded, feeling hollow. How long will this take? Given the circumstances, we can expedite things. 3 to 4 months. I stayed with Talia while the legal process began. Connor called me daily from overseas. He and Nolan had arranged for Devin's immediate transfer to a different unit. Julian pulled some strings, Connor explained. Devin's being reassigned to a base in California, effective next week. The military launched an investigation into Devin's false emergency leave requests. Using military leave to conduct an affair was grounds for disciplinary action. Kendra tried calling me repeatedly. I ignored her for 3 days before finally answering. Can we please talk? She begged. It was a mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. I laughed bitterly. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. What you did was a calculated betrayal for 4 months straight. I still love you, she insisted. Devin was just there when you weren't. I ended the call. The next day, I discovered she had withdrawn $12,000 from our savings account 2 weeks earlier. Money I hadn't noticed was missing. Martin added this to our divorce filing. She gave Devin access to your savings, he confirmed after investigating. We have the transfer records. The divorce proceeded faster than expected. Kendra didn't contest anything once she saw the evidence we had compiled. The judge was unsympathetic to her tearful explanations. The court finds clear evidence of adultery and financial misconduct, the judge stated. The ruling was decisive. I received the house, most of our assets, and a court order for Kendra to repay the money she had given to Devin. It felt like a hollow victory. I returned to my unit after 6 weeks of emergency leave. My brothers in arms formed a protective circle around me. Even guys who barely knew me offered support. "We've got your back," Nolan said simply. "Always." Word spread quickly about what had happened. Devin faced a disciplinary hearing for misusing military leave. He received a reduction in rank and forfeiture of pay. I sold the house. I couldn't stand being in those rooms anymore. Every corner held memories I wanted to forget. The divorce was finalized 3 months after I discovered the video. Just like that, 5 years of marriage ended with a judge's signature and a stack of papers. Talia helped me find a small apartment near her place. "You need a fresh start," she said. "New furniture, new everything." I threw myself into my work. Julian made sure I was assigned to challenging projects that kept my mind occupied. Desmond checked in weekly, offering counsel and perspective. "The betrayal feels like it defines you right now," he said during one of our talks. "But it doesn't. This is just a chapter, not the whole book." 6 months after the divorce, Nolan forwarded me an email from a mutual acquaintance. Kendra and Devin's relationship had imploded spectacularly. He had cheated on her with another woman at his new base. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication, just emptiness. Looking back, I recognized all the red flags I'd missed. Devin's excessive interest in my personal life, Kendra's growing detachment during our calls, the sudden changes in our home that I'd noticed but dismissed. Connor invited me for a beer one evening. "Julian got you approved for that advanced training course in Germany," he said. "If you want it, it's yours." I accepted immediately. A new assignment, a new country, a new start. It was exactly what I needed. Julian and Connor ensured Devin and I would never serve in the same unit again. Military brass took infidelity between soldiers seriously, especially when it involved deployed personnel. "Some brothers aren't worth keeping," Connor said one night. "But the ones who stand by you when everything falls apart, those are the ones who matter." I packed my things for Germany 2 weeks later. As I boarded the plane, I realized I hadn't thought about Kendra or Devin in days. The pain was still there, but it was duller now, more distant. I had lost a wife and a brother in arms I thought I could trust, but I had found something else, the unshakable loyalty of true brothers who showed up when it mattered most. That was worth more than anything Kendra and Devin had taken from me. And